Let me tell you that this panel discussion is all about the role of technology in airport transformation, discussing emerging trends shaping on the next gen airport operation and management. We are privileged to welcome a panel of distinguished aviation leaders, technology experts and digital policy pioneers who will share their insights on the ever-evolving threat landscape and future of aviation. Allow us a moment. Airport and airline operations are commanders. With extensive experience in the aviation and travel technology sector, he leads the strategic initiatives and operational excellence across the region. Please help me welcome Mr. Manish Kumar, the Managing Director of Scala, Strata Cash, Asia Pacific, leading the company's growth and transformation. Into a data-driven MarTech leader across the region. An award-winning business leader, he received the CEO of the Year Leadership Asia Pacific at the Love Monty Awards and is a recognized thought leader featured in Forbes India and Business Today. Let us welcome Mr. K. Selvakumar, Chief Executive Officer at AAI Class. Shri K. Selvakumar, an MBA graduate from Madurai Kamaraj University, has over 36 years of distinguished experience in aviation cargo management with Airports Authority of India. Is Mr. Selvakumar here? Now, please put your hands together for our moderator of the session, Mr. Sundar Natarajan, the Head Strategy Communications and Institutional Relations at the DG Yatra Foundation, where he leads strategic initiatives for communication, stakeholder engagement and institutional partnership. With over 3 decades of experience spanning technology digital transformation, with the government agencies, airlines, airports and global aviation bodies to advance the trusted, privacy-first digital identity solutions and seamless air travel. Let's welcome the whole panel on the stage. Over to you, sir. Moderator, sir.
Hello everybody. Am I audible? Good afternoon and very warm welcome and good afternoon to the fellow panelists here. And I think we have a esteemed panel. So when we talk about airport transformation or digital transformation in airports, our minds often go to technologies like AI, digital twins, robotics, 5G, edge, some of the things heard in the morning also, automation, and last but not least, biometrics. Right? But from an airport operator's perspective, technology is never the objective, or it is not the end goal. The objective is much simpler, but it's a lot harder. From an airport CEO's point of view, the questions that often come to his mind or the CXO's mind is, can we move passengers more safely? How can we reduce operational delays or improve OTP? Can we make better operational decisions in real time? And can we improve resilience or business continuity when something fails? So all the technologies that we use, the slew of technologies, have to converge and come together to help the airport management address all the questions that we just asked. And by doing all this, how do we manage passenger trust? How do we strengthen cyber security? And how do we operate with the very real financial constraints that the airports operate under? As today's airports become some of the most digitally connected ecosystems or environments, I would dare say they are like smart cities, where you have a slew of technology, you have so much of, hundreds and hundreds of, technology and airport systems talk to each other, from airlines to security agencies, from ground handlers, baggage systems, cargo operators, retail platform, air traffic management systems that we just spoke about, we heard about earlier in the morning. All these have to come together to work almost seamlessly. So the real challenge is therefore not adding more technology or adopting the newer technology. It is making these hundreds of technologies work together to solve real-time operational challenges that airports have, or address the situation awareness, how do we improve it? This is what I think makes our panel, really interesting. We have, from an activity point of view, we have Nokia here, and we have Strata Cache, and of course Amadeus, who help all the airlines and airports, with advanced, the latest and the greatest, automation systems. So we have leaders representing, all these different technologies who have come together. So rather than discussing technology for its own sake, I would like to take today's conversation to focus on something much more practical. So the question I would like to ask the panel is, what is the single biggest operational airport problem that we are trying to solve with these technologies? Not from a PowerPoint presentation, but from genuinely helping passengers in a live airport operation environment. I would like to start off with, Gautam.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I think it's a very pertinent question today when airports are becoming more and more complex. We know aircrafts are becoming complex. The new gen aircrafts, when a 350 or a 380 flies, today we call it, they are flying data centers because they have so much of data. And when they come and they land, they pump a lot of data to the airport systems, to their hub, their UOCC. Similarly, today, airports are becoming very complex. What we have seen in India, we have gone through a major transformation. I am fortunate enough, I have been part of airport IT since 2008. And in last 18-20 years, we have seen a major transformation which has taken place and which is still taking place. And I'm very happy to say that Indian airports are, I think, way ahead than other airports globally in terms of IT and technology intervention. So when we see that airports are, in my mind, they are the most complex ecosystem. My friends from the airports, those who handle IT, they will agree that this ecosystem is, in my mind, most complex. The reason is they have to implement new-gen solutions, as well as they have to adapt to the challenges which the airlines and the overall ecosystem brings. So today, an airline may be in the technology maturity curve, maybe in the start, or maybe laggard. But today, when an airport comes with implementing new-gen technology, they have to take everyone, because you cannot introduce an airline on the ground and that you are not up to date with the technology. So today the challenge for a CEO and a CIO is manifold. They have to bring efficiency. They have to give the power of connectivity to the passengers. Similarly, when the airlines, their expectations are very high, that when my passenger comes, they will be processed in a very fast manner. And the friction for a passenger should be minimum. And with the Gen Z, when they are traveling, they try to control the journey. So Amadeus is part of a seamless travel ecosystem, and we enable passengers' journey when a passenger starts thinking of a trip which he or she may undertake down the line 3 to 6 months. So our touch point starts when you start looking at a flight through any channel, whether it is the airline website, or you are trying to any OTTs like technology or any others. Then the first interaction you book through an airline channel, but when you come to the airport, that is the first time your journey begins. So the airport has to accept that passenger seamlessly, process it seamlessly, the passenger's data as well as the baggage, and ensure that he is in the aircraft in a shortest time. So we are trying to elaborate, we are trying to address all the touch points, and we are trying to create it in the seamless environment, including the border management. So those who follow, you might have seen that MBS has acquired certain companies like Vision Box and other solutions, where we are trying to see whether the passengers' risk profiling, passengers' data is also handed over to the government agencies seamlessly. So we are trying to solve that problem, but the problem is not very easy to solve, and the entire ecosystem has to come and work in a very collaborative manner, and that is the challenge today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Gautam. I think that's really pertinent, from enhancing customer experience to ensuring safety and security of data. No, that's a very good segue to move to Mr. Vajpayee to talk about what is happening on the lessons experience side of the airport, which is the air side. So I have the first only question for you, Mr. Vajpayee. How do you think enhancing runway safety through technological advancements and modernization of airport lighting systems improve the overall operating efficiency of the airport?
Okay. So, am I audible? Hi. Okay. So, first of all, running an airport like any other industry, the main challenge is passenger experience, customer experience, consumer experience, at the same time on the lowest cost. Okay. So since Nokia has a global experience in the network and solving this problem for not only for airport industry but for other industries also, one thing is very common. Without technology, and what I understand few points. Without technology, you cannot improve efficiency. So, arrival, departure delay, gate change, some of the problems of onboarding, these are transport, these are the fantastic applications. At the same time, running these applications, obviously, like we have analysts from Nokia, there are which is our lighting system on the air, also baggage scanner system, multiple IoTs. Okay, they are sending data, they are data generation. Then obviously there are data generation points, and all those things needs a very reliable network so that it can reach to your data center. The switching will happen, and obviously then the consumption will happen in all applications. So what we have seen is that a reliable network is very important. And then in most of the places, since not only cost point, but otherwise also for improving operational efficiency, people are merging IoT and OT network. So whether it was BMS or SCADA or fuel monitoring system, part of OT, and then very important is like then what Wi-Fi experience in the airport. Okay, so Wi-Fi experience in the airport, then ticketing, DPR. So IT and OT is also merging. So for all those things, a reliable network, resilient network backbone is very important. And most of the airports are moving towards building a dynamic network. In India right now, it's all copper-based LAN system, which is not good. At the same time, I'm not saying you can solve the problem with complexity also. But now, globally, we are building autonomous network, self-healing network, so that rather than there's a long queue and then you are sending 10 people to solve that problem. That's a reactive approach. The best part is have a proactive approach, and your network should tell you, your application should tell you that there is going to be a long queue to solve the problem, in a proactive manner. So that's the answer.
Thank you. Now moving on to Mr. Manish from Stata Cafe. So the first question to you, sir, is airport modernization is evolving beyond infrastructure. How is technology redefining the future of airport operations, and what should be the top priorities for leaders? Your question.
Thank you. My personal view on this is, if we talk about airport modernization in the future, I don't think it's going to be defined by who built the largest. I think it will be defined by who built the most. And my personal view on this is that can be solved if we move out of working independently, various systems, or stop working in silos and be a connected solution. What I mean by that is check-in, security, baggage control, all of them today are working independently. And in the airport where it's all connected. That is how organization should look like. When you allow AI to make decisions, AI can make decisions based on the traffic. Open 2 extra gates. In 18 minutes there is going to be excess traffic, airport traffic on gate 18 or terminal 3. Now, once you start automating all of those solutions, you see that's where we will be talking about modernization.
No, sir.
Is he audible?
No, sir.
Is that any better?
Yes.
So, as I was mentioning, it has to be decision making based on AI, and that's one of the key factors which is going to, again, what we talked about before is technology, data, but once you put the right solutions, I think that's how you will be able to define the future airports. I briefly mentioned in my, it has to be connected, not connected in silos. It has to be a journey which is connected from your entrance at the airport all the way to the boarding gate. If it's all connected, that's where we reach a point of modernization, or a modernized airport now is not digital, it is intelligent.
So I will just this one. Technology got changed. So I'm just going to clarify something on that issue. Alvin Toffler, the futurist, in the 1980s, wrote a book called AirportOperation, where he envisioned a lot of these technologies coming together and solving problems in the retail space. Right? Most of it is still not rectified. So while what you're talking is really pertinent, and we all wish that it comes true, but orchestration and coming together of various technologies still remains the art of the possible. How do you think we can translate it into something really practical? Because the airport CEOs hear, about all these technologies, art of possible, fundamental labor, it's really impressive. They also backed up with, I think distinct data points from different airports. They say Changi did this, Munich has done that, Frankfurt has done this, Heathrow has done this. But seldom they speak about the unified entity of all these different technologies. So I guess something similar here. I would definitely request you to explain explain more about it.
What you said is absolutely correct, that there is a lot of, we are discussing a lot. The way we will be able to bring all of that together is when decision makers share the budget constraints, the core government policies have to change towards modernization. And when I talk of modernization again, I'm talking of intelligence. When we start embracing technology, today, just to give you an example, today to get a solution across, it takes us anywhere between 12 to 16 months, just for one basic run. When we are talking of a connected solution, which means it's a seamless, connected nervous system operating within the domains of an airport, there is a lot of solutions. We will have to see how we can make that acquisition process seamless, which means the adoption of technology has to be at a faster pace. That's something which I think we are talking digital, we need to go beyond, and we need to execute the technology. The absolutely phenomenal, I've heard so much about it, but I think that is the kind, I just saw the timeline from, it's almost 11 years. I still don't think it has taken the complete adoption, and that's where the point is. We bring technology, we have all the technology, technologies are there. We need to see how quickly we can adopt it.
Hello. I think I have got a different take on this. I feel that, at least in Indian context or in the Southeast Asian context, I may say, you spoke about Changi. Changi is a very different example because Changi is 100% international airport, and there is a strong hub carrier, which is SQ, which is also very, very tech savvy. So when the airlines and airport they come together, it becomes very, very easy. As well as if you see the overall ecosystem of Changi, SATS is the major ground anchor there. So three of them, and they have got the backing of a very, very progressive government. So the policy decisions also takes place very fast. However, what I feel the way Indian aviation or Indian airports are doing, we all talk about DG Yatra. DG Yatra would not have been possible if airlines had restricted. Yes, initially there was, but today airports have invested the maximum capital to enable the e-gates, and they are very expensive infrastructure. But DG Yatra is a fantastic example when there is a wish, when there is a value add, when the passengers get to control their journey on their hand, in their hand. Then I think this happens. Last week I was part of a hackathon in Amadeus Lab, where 80% of passenger traffic airports were taking part, where we had tried solving the industry problem, whether this is a problem from the hotels side, whether it is a problem from the OTP sides, and all. Even Suresh was one of the judge there. So what we saw, yes, there are a lot of enthusiasm among airlines, airports, and the overall ecosystem, and everyone is trying to solve the problem. Because if we don't solve the problem, then we will not be able to make our aviation industry in India the growth, the potential it has, it is not possible. If you look at the overall blueprint of an airport IT or a technology, because the session is about that, there are various maturity curve which was crafted, let's say 10-15 years back. Airport 1.0, Airport 2.0, Airport 3.0, Airport 4.0, and we are talking about AI and ML. AI historically started, or machine learning started in 1960s, and it took so long up to this particular stage. Still we are scratching the surface. So airport industry as a technology players, we are all using AI and ML. When you talk about the gate change or in terms of any IROps, the technology providers, we are all ready and we are giving every data points to the airports. So I feel that the ecosystem is working quite well. There are security aspects as well, which we just cannot ignore. And India is in a position where we are quite vulnerable. If we don't adopt, like Suresh, we have implemented DGR as the domestic. The next progression is DGR for international. But the challenges which we have to cross those barriers, it takes time, and we have to make it a bulletproof system. Because today, when we are trying to solve frictionless things, you see, being in industry, I never expected that India will adopt backdrops. But today you travel any good airports, any modern airports, everyone is having backdrops. And I was very surprised when Mumbai Airport, the Terminal 2, they will be the first airport in the world adopt backdrop in all their checking positions. It's a 2-year journey where I'm working very closely in Amadeus, and we are bringing every airline on backdrop, 50 plus airlines. So it cannot happen overnight, but we are in the journey, and I am sure that we will be able to cross that path. So we will be, I feel, with self-backdrop implementation, India will cross the Airport 2.0, and we will be somewhere near 2.5 type of stage, because we will be having seamless check-in, seamless backdrop, and biometric-based passenger journey. So we are there. And Indian airports are using AirportOperation very effectively. That is the next gen operational efficiency led solutions. And once the type of airport India is building, Indian airports are building, they are phenomenal. And on top of airport, the time we will put TAM, we talked about digital twin, we talk about the IML. Once that part is completed, that journey is completed, I can tell you we will be there with Airport 3.0.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. So, challenge is always about the fact that how does innovation and regulation coexist? Because innovation always precedes regulation. Based on the innovation that's happening, regulators come and say that, this needs to be regulated within a framework. And airports, being businesses that come under multiple regulators, you have the ECA, you have VCAS, and you have AERA for airports, right? These constraints are always there. So from land side and customer experience, we move on to the air side and aviation safety. So in terms of modernizing air traffic control, for enhancing efficiency and safety in airports, can you say a few words? Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to start from India point of view, any new technology, and this is our experience, any new technology we implement for Indian customers first, and this is true for most of the cases, and then it gets replicated in many other places of the globe. So from Indian customer point of view, they are early adopters, and airports are different. And then second part is the network in airport is always going to be heterogeneous, because you have third party vendors, you have highway systems, you have local systems, right? So and then obviously you need to build a network, because network is a very invisible piece, but it's the most important piece in the network. If there's an internet down, or there's an electricity failure, you are there in the news for all the wrong reasons, right? So the individual piece has to be taken care of with a lot of importance, right? So when you build a reliable network and reliable network in the sense network which is backward compatible, which is future safe. Because those heterogeneous network, we can handle certain parts on a network level, but at application level, obviously you need to build a middle layer and we have to ensure that a seamless integration is there. So as far as safety part is and security part is concerned, the most important part is build secure network, what is zero trust network. So that means verify everything, don't trust anything. The network which is quantum safe, that is future ready. And obviously at the same time when you build security network, you cannot compromise on the speed of the network. It has to be faster, it has to be reliable, at the same time it has to be innovative. So the 5G technology for sensors, then IP link backbone is obviously going to play a very important role in solving the problem for air.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think just have time to squeeze in the last question. It's for Manish. So, which emerging technologies in terms of IoT, AI, IoT, digital twins, etc., will have the greatest impact on the airport in the next 5 years?
My bet would always go on AI, IoT and all. I think the biggest challenge would be how to get the old technology and new technology work together. I think our next challenge is going to be how to get that equilibrium, how to get a balance, a sweet spot between implementing new technology and ensuring that the old technology is not phased out. It's because there are a lot of and I'm sure we see that in most of the airports, that the biggest challenge for any technology or CTO is going to be that the world is moving towards AI, but there are certain technologies which are robots. How to get the new AI technology to work with the existing system. We are facing what we do pretty much across the airport. There are questions that we have to answer. We have to see how we can get our solutions across, while keeping in mind that the infrastructure which we are working on is not necessarily. We have to make sure that our solutions are compatible. So that muscle is going to be, I think, one of the biggest challenge for us.
Thanks a lot, Manish. I think the bottom line is what we are getting is heterogeneity. Heterogeneity in terms of multiple solutions are there. Heterogeneity in terms of different landscapes in different areas of the country. Heterogeneity in terms of languages spoken. There are 22 scheduled languages as part of the Schedule 8 of the Constitution. Heterogeneity in terms of not being like a family or not being like a Hong Kong or Dubai or Abu Dhabi, because we are very different. We have 80% of our passenger traffic is domestic and only 20% is international. We have heterogeneity and variety even in terms of regulators that are there. So on top of all this, how do we continuously innovate? How do we make sure that we still follow all the guidelines and compliances that are required by regulation and the business challenge, right? We need to keep running to stay in the same place. I think innovation is a huge treadmill that offers a lot of us run together, but we may realize that it's in the same place. Thanks a lot. This is a wonderful panel and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Are we allowed a question?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
sure. Sena editor, Aviation and Defence Universe. I wanted to understand with all stakeholders on the panel how difficult or easy it is to modernize an airport which has commercial operations in a military area.
Yeah, so I understand the question. How difficult or easy is it to operate commercially from a
To modernize an airport which is under the military and operations are happening from a military airport, many of them. We have examples of Pune, Agra, we've got a lot of examples, Bhuj, a lot of examples in this.
I think we have many examples, right, already. Even the old HA airport in Bangalore was a military airport to start with.
But then commercial operations, we
Yeah.
didn't see much of modernization.
Yes, I think separation of responsibilities are very, very clear. It is very well documented, and the responsibilities of the defence and the civil establishment is also clearly demarcated. Where the Airport Authority of India, I'm talking about, in the past, they used to take care of the land side and passenger facilitation, etc. Whereas, defence may be handling the air traffic control and the airside navigation, radars, etc. I think those playbooks are really well written. It is just a question of implementing it. And the modern airports, of course, there is no defense versus commercial overlap at all.
But is it easy to merge the legacy systems into the modern architecture?
So I'll answer from the network point of view. So migration is never going to be in anything, but there are companies like us who are in this business. So we always try to plan the migration strategy which is zero downtime. That means all the legacy applications are working at the same time you are upgrading to a new system. And this has been tested in many places. That can be done in India. And by the way, my hometown is Kanpur. There is also a airport, airport. So from network point of view, whether it's IoT or backbone network or wireless network, there is a methodology to migrate it from the legacy to the old network or other core applications.
I agree with both with Sundar sir. I think it's the transition has to be smooth. Bringing technology into those is more about adaptability. My personal view on this is if it can be done at a commercial, there is no reason why it cannot be done at a military. It's a very simple case of how easy is the regulation around that to adapt in technology.
I think on a very, very positive note, madam, all the airport technologies that started were in the Department of Defense in the US, including Motorola and all the great organizations. You see, everything started in the Department of Defense, laying down the specs for various equipments, be it during wartime or during peacetime. So I think defense has got a great role to play, and they have to separate themselves.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, let us not sit between them and the lunch.